Let me go ahead and put these things on so I can see a little bit, man. That's what I need to be able to do. I need to be able to see a little bit up in that thing, people. OGBOA, up in the joint, man. OGBOA up in the joint. Salute, man. I appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. Appreciate everybody being on deck. We're going to go ahead and start off. GLG. We ain't got time to play today. If you want to be a member of this live chat for this phenomenal show we're about to do, go ahead to the main channel page. Next to the subscribe button, you'll see a join button. Click that join button. Come on back in here and kick it with us, man, because we're going to shut this thing down. We ain't dealing with no foolishness today, man. No foolishness today, man. Salute, salute. Appreciate everybody being in the building. We simulcast this to both channels because I'm saying things that are relevant to both the Book of Alpha Running Me channel and also the Good Afternoon with Alpha Running Me show. All right? See what we got in the building, man. Salute to everybody in the building. Royalty, what's good with you, bro? All right, I see you, man. I see you. Rain one, man. Good to see you in the joint for real. Always good to see you in here. Being the bold woman who is going to come in here with the brothers because you can avoid your emotions and understand the positive energy that we have in here and understand that you're not going to be disrespected in here because you're in here with some grown men. And since you're a part of the family, we're going to protect you like we protect each other. The Mr. J, what's good with you, brother? Good to see you in the joint, man. King Abraham, salute, salute, man. Good to see you in the joint, bro. Good to see you in the joint. Phenomenal show, man. Phenomenal show. Let's give the people a couple minutes to get up in here, man. While we waiting, man, let's take a listen to something, man. Let's take a listen to something. Let's see what we'll listen to today, man. Let's take a listen to this, man. Listen to something laid back. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate all the support. Teflon. Shout out to my brother Teflon.
You know, man,
the headline is on the way.
There's a lot of sipping going on that's responsible for the modern
WOA all over the soundtrack.
So I thought I'd make a pimp anthem.
Salute
for the sim tantrums. Yeah.
Baby, I know that you need somebody to make you feel like you somebody, but that's worth some paper, so buy me. If you wanna try me, I said, baby, I know that you need somebody to make you feel like you somebody, but that's worth some paper, so buy me. If you wanna try me, girl, all the mama need is a regulator to hold her accountable, still a tricking paper. Her shaky self-esteem needs a motivator, so faking it to make it won't overtake her. She don't understand that her beauty is inside. She just hides behind the fake lashes on her eyes. She just huddles under all the weave on her head. Self-hate is a lie, self-love is dead. Never had a man to make her earn what she gets. The type who she submits to and serve and make her wait. She says I'm the manliest man that she ever met, and the most dominant man that she ever said. I know that I am. Don't get emotional cause I just don't give a damn. All I gotta say is if I change your life in a major way, baby, you gotta pay what you weigh. Let the chorus say, baby, I know that you need somebody.
Appreciate y'all being in the building, man. MPI, I see you, man. Salute to you. Salute to you. Black suit in the building, man. Salute to you, man. Freak Night Gaming, what up with you, man? Always good to see you in the joint. Tupac with a mohawk. What up, Pac? Good to see you in the joint, man. Phrase, I see you, man. Salute to you, man. Good to see you in the joint, man. Kendrick Michael, I see you, man. Salute, salute. We in the building, man. Arch Stanton, man. Been a minute. Good to see you in the joint. Ghost Rider, what up with you, man? What up with you? See who else we got up in the joint, man. All right, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. All right, man. I was chopping it over one of my partners, man, and we just got into this discussion, man, about all the lessons we've learned and all the things we've experienced, man. And we both realized that even though our paths were different, we had partners that were like each other growing up. And this is my partner. I've been knowing the man listen, all my partners, I've been knowing them for 20 years or more. I don't have no new partners. You know what I'm saying? All my partners, I've been knowing them for 20 years or better. But I'm going to be honest, I'm an OG. 20 years ago, I was still a grown man. You understand me? So I want y'all to understand, man, we're going to take a dive into this thing, man, and we're going to get into the top 10 lessons that I learned, both about game and women and also about life. Because there are some life lessons that come out of that thing, man, that actually apply to the real world. Now, there's a bunch of them that don't apply. And you don't know that if you've never been around people outside of that environment. Fortunately for me, first of all, let me give y'all a little backstory on why I'm even qualified to even title something like this and talk about it. All right? A couple of more shout out, then we're gonna get started, man. I see Shaka, see Darius Drum, see TL Myers, man. Salute, salute. All right. Now I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I didn't grow up in the projects. You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow up in the projects. And I didn't spend no time in the projects until I was out. Well, till I was in high school. I was in a frat that actually was a gang, but we ain't gonna get into that. But I didn't spend no time in the project until I started hustling, and I didn't start hustling until I got out of my dad's house because certain things I wasn't gonna do in my dad's house because my dad didn't play. You understand? And I had a level of respect for my dad where I just certain things I already knew just not to do it. That's just the way he raised me. So there is the difference between me and almost everyone in the hood. I grew up in the house with my dad. You know what I'm saying? Now, from the time I was 12 until I left home, I grew up in the house with my dad. Prior to that, I spent some time with my mom, and then I spent some time with my mom and dad early on in life. So I give you the backstory, the truth. I give you a chronological order of it. From birth until 7, my parents were together. My parents split up at 7. From 7 until 12, I stayed with my mom. And then from 12 until adulthood, I stayed with my dad, right? Now, what that did was that gave me some exposure to something outside of the hood. That gave me some exposure to something outside the hood. First of all, I grew up in a neighborhood where every home was a 2-parent home when I was young, right? My parents split. I went to live with my mom. She took us off somewhere where I always just lived somewhere nice. You know what I'm saying? We were able to, we just didn't never hear that. I ain't never hear about nobody getting shot or stabbed or none of that. It just wasn't none of that. The police would never need to be called or nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was a mixed neighborhood. That's where I grew up at with my mom. With my dad, of course, it was all black, but it was an area, like I said, where, my dad grew up in the area. So by default, I was popular, well known, well loved, well liked, protected. So when I got back with my dad, it was still the same thing. But I started going to school with guys from a different area. So at school, I was dealing with people from the projects. Now, my neighborhood and the surrounding area and a few guys from the projects. High school, I tell you what happened in high school. All of the high schools connected to all of the projects on the east side closed down. So you had Gate City projects, High Chaparral projects, Kingston projects, Avondale projects, and all the hood areas in between, Georgia Road and all of that. All of the hood on the entire east side started going to one high school. So we're talking about, I'm going to be honest with you, it turned into lean on me. It turned into lean on me. Literally, it turned into lean on me. Now, this was around the same time that, I'm about to age myself now. This was around the same time where gangs were really just, the LA gangs rather, were really just starting to take hold because Colors had came out a few years before, right? And so, by the time I'm in high school, we got Crips, Bloods, Disciples, Vice Lords, you name it, we got it. We got a gang called 8 Ball that was Disciples and Crips together. And you know how they make the 8? You put the fork with the C, it makes 8. So it was crazy, man. It was crazy. Now, remember what I told you my upbringing was? Man, this was all new to me, dog. I'm gonna be honest with you. It took me all the way through high school to acclimate. You know what I'm saying? It took me through high school to acclimate. So it was a trying time for me. Like, I had a bunch of trials and tribulations in high school. I was popular. I had a bunch of friends. I was cool with a bunch of people. But the energy of the environment, like when you have to grow up in the projects, when you born in the projects and you got to grow up in the projects, all the strife and struggle of that, it turns you into an animal. We're all animals, but you have to be animalistic every day just for survival. I didn't have to be animalistic every day for survival. I never had to. You know what I mean? But let me tell you how God always blessed me. No matter where I went, even living with my mom, I always connected with some guys who lived in the projects. You know, I always had partners who were from the projects. Yeah, I may have had to fight them the first day of school, but we ended up being partners. I always had partners in the project. I'll tell you like this. My closest partner was always a gangster. For whatever reason, that's just how God worked it out. My closest partner was always a gangster. We may have started off enemies, but we ended up being partners. My closest partner was always, even now, man, some of my closest partners are, straight up gangsters. But I say that to make a long story short, I say this. Let me tell you some things. Once school was over, I didn't start hustling until school was over, right? That's the only time I spent in the projects when I was going to get my work. Now it's 2 times I spent in the project. I was going to jump up and down on some pretty little hood rat, or I was going to the project to get my work. Now here's the thing about going to get my work. I always went to get my work at midnight. Now you may say, man, you going in the project to get your work at midnight? Yes, I went to the project to get my work at midnight, because let me tell you something. I was never afraid of the people in the projects. I was always afraid of getting jammed up by the police coming out of there. So here's what I never did. And this is just some insight that the Most High gave me just from singing. When I first started hustling, one of my partners that I started hustling with, he got jammed up. He got jammed up. He had some trees. He had some girl, and he had let's go. He had trees. He had some snow, and he had the iron on him. And the iron was the strongest case he was looking at. That was going to get him the most time. The iron was going to get him more time than the trees and the blow together. And so I said then, I'll never ride dirty and have the iron on me at the same time. So I was in the project at midnight, didn't even have no iron on me. I never went in there. No matter, I don't know how many times I went in there, but I never had the iron on me in there. But under the assumption that I got to have that iron on me in there, nobody ever tried me while I was in there. And then God was protecting me as well. A lot of this comes from God protecting me in this environment, because I was doing a bunch of stupid things. But in retrospect, that sounds stupid. But everybody, you just wouldn't imagine that I was in there by myself at midnight getting work and not strapped up. You know what I'm saying? Because you couldn't go inside nowhere. So you just standing outside, man, while the plug go get your work. You know what I'm saying? And it's nighttime. All the street lights shot out. So let me tell you something, boy. It was some dogs running around in there. You know what I'm saying? And you know me, I always said, if I'm outside, I'm just gonna post up on this wall right here. So everything that's coming at me coming forward. You ain't gonna never get me from behind. Everything that's coming at me forward. Man, I'll be on the wall, man. Look up, man. It's a dog right there beside me. And when I say a dog, I ain't talking about a roof dog. I'm talking about a ghost dog, a dog that create ghosts and spirits. I look, oh man, I was just out there, man, doing my thing, because I knew for a fact everyone assumed I was strapped. I knew there was not one person out there that just knew that, because everybody else out there was strapped. But anyway, I say that. So I had this process called WWE. WWE means work plus weapon equals easy case for the DA. WWE. That was all I said. Now this was back then. The World Wrestling thing was WWF. It wasn't WWE back then, but I called this WWE. Work plus weapon equals easy case. If you get caught work, you might get off. Get caught with a weapon, it's possible. You get caught work and weapon, you're going to jail. You're going to prison. That's just it. That's just it. Ain't nothing gonna happen. So I tell you like this. Here's some things that I figured out. I always rode solo, so no one ever knew that whenever I had work, I ain't had no weapon. Nobody ever knew that. This is my first time sharing this. I might share it with y'all before on Patreon or something, but this is my first time sharing this publicly. I was always in there. I was never strapped up. There's not one single time I went to the project to get work that I was strapped up. No matter who was out there. Because if I was coming out of there, they jam me up, they're going to jam me up with the work. I might get off. I wasn't going to get off, but I get less time. I won't get off. But so, and also when I didn't have work, I was always strapped up. So whenever I went around my partners or I went to my hood or whatever, I was always strapped up. So as far as everybody knew, I was always strapped up. And I'm talking about Glock 10 in the box, AK in the trunk. I'm talking about strapped up. And let me tell you something else that happened. Now, I wasn't like this in school. I had to learn. I didn't know. My dad never even taught me this. Like my dad never taught me this. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad wasn't from the projects. I ain't had that experience. So I had to learn a lot. And I'm going to tell you some lessons that I learned right quick. You can never accept disrespect in that environment. Now, you can't accept disrespect in any environment, but you can talk through disrespect in the real world. In the jungle, there is no talking. You got to act. You know what I'm saying? You have to respond. You have to meet disrespect with force in that environment. And that's just something I learned. I had to learn. I learned it the hard way, but I learned it. There's something else I also learned. And so that means now, once I learned it, I never accepted disrespect from anyone. Anyone that knew me coming up, they can tell you one time that I accepted disrespect. There is one time that I accepted disrespect. I ain't gonna lie to you. But after that, I never accepted disrespect from anyone. And not just for me, for my people or my money. Anyone who knew me as an adult, anyone who knew me after school will vouch for it. I never accepted disrespect at all. Now, because I became a shark. You know what I'm saying? After those school growing pains, I became a shark. And it's such a blessing that everybody that I would have probably shot on sight, they end up getting locked up young. You know what I'm saying? There's a few people I would have shot on sight. They just end up getting locked up young. Just cause hater energy. It just felt like they were evil. And we'll get I ain't gonna get into that. But also, I tell you this: I never was a snitch, and I never was a bee. You understand? I became a man, and I stood on manhood principles every day of my life. You understand me? Here's another thing. I found out that nobody is ever as tough as they claim to be. Even the killers aren't as tough as they claim to be. Everybody is just angry. Nobody's as happy as they try to act like they are. That's why they got to buy all the stuff and wear all the fashions. Everybody got the Jordans. Nobody has any high self-worth in that environment. But here's the difference. I knew there was something outside of that. What I found out is nobody in the hood ever thought there was anything outside of the hood, because when you're in that environment, everything else in the world is cut off from you. Your music, your television shows, all of that, you were cut off from it. You know, and that's why people who were really, really hood didn't watch the Cosby Show. Why? Because it didn't represent reality to them. Well, I had been exposed to people that lived like that. When I was growing, I remember, I had a partner, man. Well, this was before I moved back to Birmingham. I was living in Tuscaloosa. So his mom was a doctor. His dad, he owned some warehouse where I can't remember what it was, but it was huge. It was huge. And so his mom had a car, his dad had a car, and they had a family car. Well, his dad's car was an old school Camaro he had put together. Like it was the Camaro that was similar to the Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. It was cold, but he had brand new tires on it, and he had ran over something. And this was before run flat tires. And so every morning, my partner would have to go out there with a hand air pump and pump his dad's tires up every morning. And he would just do it every morning. And when I asked him about it, I said, man, why your dad got you pumping this tire, man? How come he don't pump it up? He said, and this is real. This is gonna remind you of the movie Boys in the Hood, because this is why that movie was so real. His dad told him, well, I do everything else. The car got to take me to make the money that get you everything you want. And they was living well. And so he said, the least you can do is go out there and make sure I get to the job to take care of the money. And that's why his dad didn't get that tire fixed. He didn't even worry about getting it fixed. He just sit the sun out there. I'm talking about rain, sleet, or snow. He was out there pumping that tire up, man. He had on a raincoat out there pumping it up. You know what I mean? And he did it every single day. His dad had to go to work 5 days a week. And he had to do it on the weekends. And I thought about that, man. And I was like, none of that happens when you're in the hood. When you're in the hood, you don't get those lessons from your dad. You're in a dog-eat-dog world. All right, so let's get into it, man. I just want to give y'all a quick rundown on some things, man, so y'all see what was going on. All right, let's get into it. All right, now, there's a couple more things I learned. It took years for me to normalize my behavior and not respond to everyone like a shark. When I first got out and stopped hustling, man, I wouldn't even put no money in the bank. Like I ain't even trust the banks. I wouldn't put no money in the bank. It took me like a year, man, before I put money in the bank. I'm sitting around, man, with money in a safe. I wasn't doing everything cash. I would not put money in the bank. I didn't trust the system. Like that's how far it had taken me away. Even though I grew up around people who had bank accounts, I had to become an animal. I wasn't human anymore. I didn't think my way through things. There was a code that you followed in that environment. You don't think about the code. You just follow the code. So like no snitching. No snitching means that you don't talk to the police. Period. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. You ain't got to think about it. As police, I ain't got nothing to say. It don't matter what happened. I don't even want to know what happened. I ain't got nothing to say. So you didn't think your way through things. You're a zombie in that environment. You understand me? You're a zombie. And here's two more things I learned, and we'll get into the show. Street respect doesn't translate to real world respect. Because the things that people in the street respect are dumb in the real world. Like spending all your money on cars and clothes and jewelry and all that other stuff that don't mean nothing after you buy it. It's dumb in the real world. It's respected in the hood. Going to prison is respected in the hood. It's dumb in the real world. Because in the hood, it gives you opportunities. Outside of the hood, it deprives you of opportunities. Having babies out of wedlock, it's respected in the hood. Outside in the real world, it's not respected. It's dumb. Because in the hood, you can rely on the system. Well, back then, you could rely on the system to take care of your babies. Woman sitting at home with 3 babies by 3 men, she ain't even got to go to work. Back then, she ain't had to go to work to get food stamps and a check and all of that type of stuff right there. She ain't even had to work. She had to do that. She could just stay at home all day and lay up with a new man. So she got 3 babies by 3 men, laid up with a 4th man. Get pregnant by him, get more on the food stamp, more on the check. Medicaid, taking care of the kid, all you got to do is take them to the doctor. Can you take them to the best doctor? No, because the best doctors, the hospital, don't take Medicaid. But you can take them somewhere. You can take them to the clinic. You can take them to children's hospital. They're going to take Medicaid. You know what I'm saying? You could do that. But in the real world, it's dumb. Because children cost money in the real world. In the real world, ain't no systems to help you. In the real world, the government don't pay for your daycare. They don't pay you. They don't pay for nothing. In the real world, you don't get no WIC or no food stamps or no welfare. Or you don't get none of that in the real world. You understand me? So when I say in the real world, it ain't got nothing to do with black or white. Because trailer parks are the equivalent of the projects for black folks. So what we're talking about is poor people versus rich or well-off people or people that have, a destination in life versus people who don't. All right, so let's get into it now. I just want to break that down to you. And I also say this to you. I found out this. Women with multiple children by multiple men are bonded with one of those men forever, with at least one of those men forever. Find me a woman with multiple children by multiple men, she's pair bonded with one of those men forever. So you will never be able to fully access every part of that woman. I don't care who you are. I don't care how cold you are. However cold you think you are, I'm colder than you. And I'm telling you, I can't even do it. I ain't going to even try to do it. I'm telling you, it can't be done. If a woman got multiple children by multiple men, she's pair bonded with one of those men. Also, if a woman has multiple children by one man, she's pair bonded with that man. Also, if a woman has one child by one man, depending on what their relationship was, she might be pair bonded to him. Also, a woman who's been intimate since before, she was old enough to be intimate. A woman who started being intimate when she was a teenager and had a baby as a teenager, she gonna always be, she ain't gonna never be able to control her libido. It has nothing to do with her. It's not that she's bad. It's that she was exposed to adult things before her childhood mind, her childlike mind could comprehend it. And so she spent all of her time chasing that feeling again. And now she's an addict. She's addicted to that feeling. So whenever she gets a scratch, she needs it to be itch. Whenever she gets an itch, she needs it to be scratched. This is what you got to understand. This ain't bad. This ain't good. It's just true. You understand? You can ignore me if you want to. But if you find a woman like this, I'm telling you what she gonna do. So you can't afford to wife her up. You can't afford to wife her up because somebody turn her on, then that's the person gonna have to turn her off. She can't dedicate herself to being turned on by one man because she's allowed that feeling to engulf her. So she has to avoid things and stay away from things and ignore things and move away from things and all of that. Those are the women who are running up the tab on the toy industry. I'm telling you, those are the ones. Believe me when I tell you, they're the ones. So let's get back into this thing, man. Let's go ahead and get into it, baby. We about to roll now. We about to get into the show, man. I appreciate y'all being patient, man, while I gave y'all that rundown, man. Appreciate y'all being patient. Now, I tell you this, man. Because I was so blessed, I never been shot. Been shot at. And I shot at somebody. Have I shot somebody? That ain't your business. I ain't gonna tell you that. But never been shot. Never been stabbed. And never let nobody shoot at me and get away with it. You know, never let nobody threaten me and not face them about it. Never been robbed. You know, never had nobody run up on me and try to rob me. Now, I ain't saying it because I'm tough. I'm saying it because I'm blessed. You know what I mean? And I also carried myself in a way where I was, you just didn't know what I was about. I mean, you knew one thing that everybody knew, you knew I let the iron fly. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't fit. I listen, I ain't no killer. I ain't no thug. I ain't none of that. I wasn't gonna do nothing. If you don't start with me, I'm not gonna start with you. If you leave me alone, I'm gonna leave you alone. But I'm not gonna let you do nothing to me. I'm not gonna let you bother me. I'm not gonna let you cross me. I'm not gonna let you play me. You understand me? Not because I'm a gangster or a thug and nothing like that, because I'm a man. You understand me? I ain't got no other distinction, no other title except a man. Don't put alpha on it, don't put P on it, don't put nothing. Those are character traits that I possess. But when you strip all that down, man, I'm a man. You understand me? That's what I am. All right. So let's get into this, man. Let's get into it. A couple super chats right here, man, before we slide into this thing. All right, who we got? We got Darius Drums in. John, appreciate the dime. Just showing my appreciation, man. I appreciate you too, bro. And we got my brother MPI, man. Sent you an article. A YN caught that girl with an older married man that deleted him, having in Birmingham. Yeah, I saw that, man. I'm gonna do something on that. I'm probably do something on that, man. So, okay, first thing is this. If you don't have something to live for, you don't value life. Life is worthless to you. I learned this in that environment because people were so willing to take a life. And the people who were willing to take a life were most times people who had nothing. The more you attain, or the more you gather, the more wealth you gather, even material possessions, the more you have to lose, then you stop looking at your life as worthless. So that's one of the things that I had to learn. And so I learned to dissociate myself from people who don't have anything. Even when it comes to a relationship, that's why I tell y'all all the time, I apply the prism of the ism because I ain't gonna deal with no woman who ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? Am I saying she got to be rich? No. But I'm saying the first thing on her mind can't be who gonna help her pay her bills. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. I don't know how to deal with a woman like that. Cause I'm not gonna help her pay her bills, so I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know what to do with a woman who need help paying her bills, and so I just avoid her. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust her. I believe a woman who need help paying her bills, man, who really, really in dire strait financially, if I leave some money on the dresser, man, she'll take it and leave and block me on everything. I just don't trust that. Because she's in survival mode. I don't trust people who are in survival mode because survival mode means that whatever it takes to survive, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? You take two people, put them on an island with no food, eventually somebody going to eat somebody. You know what I'm saying? You go on there, man, about 6 months later, one of them going to be gone. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to see a skeleton around there because somebody going to eat somebody. That's just the way it is. So another thing is this. Respect is taught. Disrespect is learned. I say that again. Respect is taught. Disrespect is learned. Wherever respect is not taught, disrespect will be learned because nobody has learned respect. Nobody has been taught respect. You can't teach disrespect. Disrespect happens by default if there's no respect being taught. You don't have to teach disrespect. And so in an environment where there are no men, respect won't be taught. Emotion will be taught. Love will be taught. Anger will be taught. Hatred will be taught. Sadness will be taught. Fake happiness will be taught. Frustration will be taught. But respect won't be taught. And so when you're in that environment, there is no respect. The things that are called respect, now respect is fear. And it's sticking to a code. There's no real respect because no one knows what it is. And so you get a woman from that environment, and then you realize, man, that she don't know how to respect you as a man because she never had to respect a man. Never had a man in her life. She had boys in her life. You know what I'm saying? Her dad was probably a boy too. You know what I mean? Her granddad probably a boy. Man, you'd be surprised how many women, their granddad, great granddad, man, all they do is run the street, man, sleep with the men and women as they could their whole life. Nigga 60 years old, still trying to sleep with the men and women as he can. He's a boy. He's not a man. So the majority of people you come across, they're boys. The majority of them are boys. GMB says all the time, man, that, the majority of people you come across, they still have the mental capacity of a 12-year-old. They never develop past that point. Everything they do is because of what feels good, sounds good, looks good, smells good, tastes good. Everything. They can't get in shape because they can't stop eating bad. You know what I mean? They can't have no peace because they can't stop sleeping with everybody they meet. And you come into contact with these people and you realize that that's how they are. And let me tell you something. You can't change a person like that. That's why your circle has to be so small, man. Listen, you can't be out here sleeping with every woman you meet because you got to know what this woman is mentally and emotionally. She can be bad physically, and then she can be bad mentally and emotionally. You got to be able to take your time and control yourself. And you know how you do that? By thinking about the consequences and repercussions of your decisions. You know what I'm saying? The main thing is thinking about your consequences and repercussions. And that's the reality of it, man. So you got to understand this as well. I learned that you can't be friends with someone who doesn't befriend you mutually, because they'll just use you. It's the same thing in a relationship. You can't be with someone and try to be in a committed relationship with them when they're not committed to you as well. And by commitment, I don't necessarily mean not committed to another person. I mean, they may be committed to their own lives. Many men get into a relationship with women who already are committed to their careers. If a woman committed to her career, man, you go let her finish that. You don't give her no woman that's already committed to something else because all she wants you to do is commit yourself to what she committed to. You hear him talking all the time, talking about how, well, a real man will come into your life and be supportive and take you to that next level. Bro, I'm not no magic carpet. I ain't finna take you nowhere. What I look like trying to take you to the next level? Take you to the next level for what? You want to go to that level. I don't even want to go to it. Why I'm going to take you somewhere I don't want to go? So you got to remember that. If she's already dedicated to something else, so you can look at it and say, man, she already got a man. Okay, well, think about this. What we tell women all the time. Baby girl, I'm single, but I got a fiance. My business is my fiance. You know what I'm saying? My hustle is my fiance. The grind is my fiance. We got a baby. That baby called money. And you can't come before my fiance and my baby. My business is my baby. My business is my fiance. My money is my baby. You can come third. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a side chick to my business, and you got to be a stepmom to my money. Now I want to see how you deal with my baby. My money is my baby. Let me see how you handle my baby. You got a baby too. Let me see how you handle your baby. I tell you like this: the same way they say a man with a child should only date a woman with a child. I agree. My money is my baby. You got a baby? Let me see how you handle your baby. If you ain't got no money, you ain't got no baby. If you ain't got no baby, I can't deal with you. Because I don't know how you going to handle my baby. You may try to take my baby from me. You may already have a plan to manipulate me out of my baby. I want my baby. I love my baby. I like my baby. You understand me? I want my baby. I want to keep my baby. So I want you to show me yours. And this is one of the things you have to understand. So I tell a woman the same thing. Her man can be her career. And if her man is her career, hey man, go ahead and let her do that. Go ahead and let her focus on her man over there. But you never put yourself in a situation where a woman can't focus on you 100%. Many women can't. You pass on those women. It's the same thing with business. You can't go into business with somebody, man, who ain't ready to dive in head first with you. You can go into business with somebody who just got half of the money. They put half of the money up. You doing all of the work. Now you in business with somebody just looking to make a profit. These are life lessons that you got to learn from dealing with people who are in survival mode. Because you got to know what survival mode look like, because a bunch of people out here in the real world are in survival mode. They just don't want nobody to know it. Which is cool. You ain't got to let nobody know it. But if you're in survival mode, don't get out here and fake like you're not. One thing I will say about the hood, man, you know who in survival mode, you know who not. They ain't even trying to hide it. We all know who the jackals are. We all know who the women are who willing to do something strange for a little piece of change. We all know who the working girls are. We all know who the dancing girls are. We all know who the P's are. We all know who the G's are. You know what I mean? We know who everybody is. Ain't nobody trying to hide. Everybody got on their uniform. You understand me? Everybody wearing their uniform. That one thing I will say about the environment. You get out here, people trying to all the wolves in sheep clothing out here. Ain't no wolves in sheep clothing in the hood. You see the sheep? Everybody know the sheep. And then you see the wolves. There ain't no wolves trying to act like they ain't wolves. And so that's one of the things, man, that that we have to keep in mind about this environment we live in. When you get out here in the real world, man, people fake. I mean, people super fake. And there ain't no rules to govern it. You know what I mean? There ain't no rules to govern it. So you just got to know what it looked like for somebody to be authentic. You got to know what it looked like for somebody to be, on your side, in your corner. You just got to know what that looked like. Also, man, there's a huge difference between good girls and bad girls. Huge difference between good girls and bad girls. Know who the good girls are? Good girls are the ones who don't come outside. The good girls are the ones they call lame. The lame girls are the good girls. The square girls, them the good girls. But let me tell you something about the good girls and square girls. The good girls and the square girls all like the same type of man. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Don't be mad. Don't be upset. It don't matter where you go. Wherever you go, good girls and bad girls like the same kind of man. Now, I will say this. A woman who didn't grow up in the hood, she understands that the hood don't really represent masculinity. Let me tell y'all something. There isn't much masculinity in the hood. There's a bunch of angry men who respond emotionally to a bunch of things. That's not masculine. If you're willing to smoke somebody every time something go wrong, you got a problem with somebody, you're going to take them out. You're an angry little man. That's emotion. That's not masculinity. And the majority of the time, most women who get their hand put on by a hood cat. So that's not masculinity. Masculinity is where you are able to logically assess situations and not respond emotionally. Where you're able to navigate a situation and teach who need to be taught, lead who need to be led, push who need to be pushed away, because you're assessing the situation logically. You're not moving from that emotional perspective and moving in the wrong way. You're not doing that. So in that environment, there isn't a lot of masculinity. But those women, you got to think about it. You take women from that environment, and then the square girls, everybody got a relative in that environment, right? So the square girl, she go to the hood to visit sometime, to go around her grandma's house, because a lot of grandmas live in the hood, just grow up in the projects. When the projects, in the beginning, the projects were a place for elderly people to stay. But then, the grandkids come there, and then the grandkids go up there, and before you know it, the people in the project got younger and younger and younger. So you get in there, you got a grandma who live in the projects who ain't got no help, and then she got them children there. Before you know it, them children get the girls getting pregnant young, and the boys getting girls pregnant young. So it's a bunch of grandbabies running around there, with moms and dad that's 15, 16, 17 years old. So you're moving through that environment, and before you know it, everything in that environment is childish. There is no maturity in that environment. So there's no femininity or masculinity in that environment. There's a bunch of people who act exactly the same. The girls and boys act the same. The girls and boys act the same. The girls and boys believe the same things. The girls and boys dress the same. You think about growing up in an environment with the hood, man, the girls were wearing boys' Jordans. There wasn't no girl Jordans at first. The girl was wearing boys' Jordans. Back in the day, man, when the 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, when them Jordans came out, man, wasn't no girl Jordan. It was all boy Jordans. And so you go to school, everybody got on the same shoes, the girls and boys. Because there was no distinction. There is no distinction in an environment where there are no true mature men and mature women. Everybody's just a being. There are no boys, girls, there's no girls, boy, there's nothing. There's just a bunch of beings in there. So what they did to change it up, to suppress, to make a difference between girls and boys, they said, okay, what are girls and boys supposed to be? So they let the girls be a little bit more emotional, and they stopped the boys from, even dealing with their emotions at all. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't let them go, and they wouldn't let them go box or anything. So here's what happened. You take them out there and you let them play football. Well, football only handles one emotion. It only handles the aggression. It only handles the rage and anger. You can go out there and take it out on somebody. What about the neglect you get from not having a dad around? What about the neglect you give from having a mom that got to work 2 or 3 shifts back to back, and you at home with your younger siblings, and y'all ain't got no food, and you can go outside as long as you want to? I want you to understand something. What I learned in that environment is that the majority of people in the hood belong there, and they don't deserve an opportunity to get out. Because if you give them that opportunity, whatever you get them, they just want to take it back to the hood. I had a partner say once, man, he said if he hit, we had a few businesses we were working on, man, and he was like, man, listen, get to this point right here, man, the guy was like, man, when we hit 50 million, 100 million, I'm going to flood the street with work. I'm like, bro, if we make $50 million legit, you going to take the legit money and put it back in the streets? But he grew up in the projects, whole life in the projects. He don't know nothing else. Everything, his foundation is the hood. That's his foundation. Fortunately for me, that wasn't my foundation. And so that's the difference between people. Now, did I do some of the same thing, get in some of the same trouble? Yes. Yeah, I did. Listen, got the case on my record to prove it. Did some of the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, avoided a bunch of the pitfalls, though, because I did have a line that I wouldn't cross. I knew when it was time for me to just, I'm gone, man. I knew certain environments that they wanted for me to go to, man. I'm not going there, man. That always turned ugly. I ain't going there. That's why I ain't never go to clubs. It was always a hood club. Man, I'm not finna go a hole in the wall club, man, one way in, one way out, man, and people start shooting and nobody's ever been to a gun range in their lives. Think about this. A group of people pulling out weapons, discharging them, and nobody's ever been to a range. Who gonna get hit? We don't know. But somebody always got hit that wasn't intended to get hit. Why am I gonna go to that environment? It don't even make sense to go to an environment where people are doing things they're not trained to do and people are dying almost every week. It's crazy to me. So just thinking my way through things, I realize that if people don't have proper training in what they're doing, and they're not focused and determined and calmed and reserved enough to navigate things, man, you can't keep them around. And here's also something. Most of the time, when you meet a woman who's not in a relationship, it's because she's afraid of a relationship because she's had her heart broken once or twice. And let me tell you something. The second heartbreak is just, it ain't even bad. The second heartbreak is just a reminder that your heart is broken. That first heartbreak, any woman who's ever had her heart broken, she'll never be whole, bro. Think about it. Heartbreak, you never heal from it. Any woman who's ever had her heart broken, she'll never heal from it. She's looking for some healing. So she's not in a position to give anything. You think about this. If you're playing football and you break your leg, how many plays you gonna run for the rest of the day? None. It don't matter how fast you are, how quick you are, how much you know the playbook, how strong you are. You can be somebody that used to carry the whole defense to the end zone. You break your leg, you can't carry yourself to the end zone. Anything that breaks needs to be healed before it can be used again. So one with a broken heart, time don't heal a broken heart. It just, you can put more stuff on top of it. You know what I'm saying? You can not be triggered by it so often. But man, have you ever met a woman who heart been broken before, man? And sometimes you just see her crying and I mean, she won't tell you why she crying. Well, you got to think about it. She done already told you the story because a woman going to tell you the heartbreak she experienced. Now she may sugarcoat her end of it and make it seem like she ain't do nothing. But once a woman share a heartbreak with you, bro, she ruined. She can't bounce back. Ain't no bouncing back from heartache, man. No bouncing back from it. Also, man, you got to think about this. When you are in a situation where you don't understand that the majority of women that you meet have been touched inappropriately. And being touched affects a woman tremendously. She never gets over it. When I say never, I mean there's no healing from that. No matter what kind of counseling or whatever she get, there's no healing from that. She can get to where it doesn't just ruin her life and keep her from functioning, but there's no healing from that. No healing from that. And when I tell you no healing, you wouldn't know there's no healing because out here in the real world, they tell you that you just go get counseling. Counseling works. Well, how come if counseling works, how come people been getting counseling for 25 years? Let me ask you this. Anybody who's ever had a personal trainer, Did you have to have a personal trainer for 25 years? Anytime you ever had to go get some dental work, did you have to get dental work for 25 years? Anytime you went to get a trade, did you have to work on that trade for 25 years? If you got a degree, listen, you'll run out of degrees to get in a field before you burn up 25 years. You can go to school every other year and get a PhD in 25 years. What else you got to do for 25 years? Counseling just keep you from losing it. But it don't heal nothing. You need counseling when you are broken. And you don't need your brokenness to affect your life and overcome your life and overtake you where you can't function. But people who get counseling, man, they get counseling forever. You understand me? That it don't never end. So when women have dealt with certain things, man, you can't create nothing with her. You just can't. She's broken. She's irretrievably broken, man. You can't fix it. And you got these guys out here promoting that you heal a woman and you can't. If you could, I'd be like, okay, if you're simple enough to go heal a woman, do it. But you can't. She'll never heal. You can do enough things to make her not think about it. But who wants that life? Who wants that life? Spending your whole life, man, with a woman trying to you give her this and give her that and do this for her and do her for that, and you can't get nothing out of her except the fact that she's not hurt from the past. She can't give you nothing. All she can do is not be hurt from the past. So your whole life is spent keeping her from being hurt from what somebody else did. It doesn't make sense. You put yourself in an environment, man, where you're a constant simp for the rest of your life. You're going to be paying and you're going to be praying and you're going to be doing all of these things, man. And then that still ain't no guarantee that she's going to be staying. You understand? Because eventually the things that you're doing, they stop working. That's why you got to go somewhere else and let somebody else try to heal her. That's why they be so in and out of a relationship, because once that novelty or relationship wear off, nothing keeps her from thinking about the heartbreak. She believes that being with another man, think about the craziest thing that you hear women say, the easy way to get over one man is to get under another one. Well, who told you a lie like that? Who told you that was the truth? The easy way to get over one man is to get under another one? Well, getting under a man is what got you in this situation. So you're going to get under another. What they do, they compound the issue. Why? Because then you got those soul ties to this man too. So whatever his energy is on top of that. And so it complicates things to the point. That's why there's no healing. There may be an opportunity for healing if right after heartbreak, a woman goes and get counseling. But once she just lets it fester and she starts adding more and more spirits and more physical attachments and all of that to it, it's over. She can't heal. She can't heal. She's trying to recreate the connection that she had with that guy, so she can try to relive it and redo it and make it right, but she can't even connect. And it's crazy, man. Like you gotta really, really understand that it's fool's gold to believe that you can, or to believe that she's even over it. Just wait it out long enough. Another thing I learned is that women are phenomenal actresses. Men, we can't really act like that. After a while, if I don't like you, you're gonna know it. Even if I try to hide it. Me, I'm not gonna try to hide. I'm really the one, man, that I just leave when you come around. You know what I'm saying? I just leave when you come around. We can be at a family function. You come around, I'm out. You know what I mean? I'm just gone. So, but women, man, a woman can play the role, man, for years. Can act like she like you for years. Years. You know how I learned that? Watching setup chicks. Watching chicks like Cardi B. Man, listen, bro. A setup chick will convince a man that he about to have the most amazing night of his life. You understand? She'll go through what she got to go through. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, she'll take a slurpee. She'll take a slurpee to the bathroom in the club. You know what I'm saying? Give you a frosty. And lead you on. And people already at her career waiting on you. And then they take it even further than that. One been a long-term relationship with your long-term relationship. Till you trust her, get access to your safe, wipe you out, and be gone. This is why you have to take your time when it comes to interacting with women in your relationships. Man, you got to take your time. You can't rush. You can't try to go too fast, man. You got to take your time, because all she's waiting for is for you to slip. And a woman has to be dedicated. You understand? She has to be 100% dedicated to proving to you that she deserves whatever this thing is that she's trying to convince you she wants. Has to be. You know what I mean? And so I want y'all to understand this as well. Many times you have to look at someone's energy. And if they're trapped in that hood mindset, you got to avoid them. You know, a woman who's trapped in the hood mindset, she don't know how to be a good square girl for you. You can't make a hood chick square and you can't make a square chick hood. Those are character traits in a woman. And the thing with the hood chick, her trauma is generational. Like I told you earlier, her dad, granddad, great granddad, great granddad, all would just run in the street sleeping with whoever they could, and did it as long as they could. Didn't stop until age just stopped them or death. You know what I mean? And so when you think about it, it's the same way with the women on her side. It's all generational trauma. You know what I'm saying? Whatever she's dealing with, her mama dealt with it, and her grandma dealt with it, and her great grandma dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? And 9 times out of 10, her children gonna deal with it. Because it's the environment. That environment is non-forgiving. When I say non-forgiving, I mean it doesn't excuse the fact that something happened to you. You're still expected to function. No one is held accountable for things that happen to children when they're young in that environment. No one's held accountable. It doesn't even matter. Like no one wants to hold anyone accountable. They want you to get over it. And you got to think about how it feels to feel unimportant, how it feels to feel worthless, how it feels to feel like you deserve what happened to you because no one even cares, how it feels to not feel protected. That's why these women now, why you think all these women talking about protect black women? Because they haven't been protected. Even when they were little girls, they never been protected. They spent their whole lives being unprotected. And now the scars are starting to fester to the surface because they all got a phone in front of them and can say whatever they want to say online. So it's always protect black women. Nobody protected me my whole life when I was young. When this happened to me, no one protected me. When that man did to me, no one protected me. When my cousin did to me, no one protected me. When my uncle did to me, no one protected me. When my stepdad did it to me, no one protected me. No one protected me from anything. When my auntie did it to me, no one protected me. They have never been protected. And let me tell you something, and I mean this, and this gonna hurt some people. If you've never been protected, then you've never been respected. And so you won't appreciate the protection. And you won't respect it. What did I say earlier? Respect is taught. But when I said that, what do we think? Respect for other people. Well, what other kind of respect is it? Self-respect. Self-respect is taught. So if you weren't protected, then you weren't respected. So you weren't taught self-protection or self-respect. So if you meet a woman who's gone through these things, she don't know no respect for nothing. She can't respect you or herself. She don't respect the people around her who weren't there for her during those times. Where you think the term born again virgin came from? This hood church girls. You go around square girls who from the hood, man, those girls, a lot of time, those girls don't even be intimate with nobody, man, until until they get older, until they parents know who their boyfriend is. Because those girls can't go nowhere. Those girls are in the house. You think about the hood chick, she ain't got to be in the house. She might have been, when she young, she might have been out by a certain time, but as long as it ain't a certain time of day, she can go anywhere she want to go. She's not resigned to being on the porch or resigned to just, you can't go nowhere, but your friend can come over here. She ain't resigned to that. She can go anywhere. Let me tell you 2 things I saw in that environment. Older guys were always allowed to be with girls. You could be 20 and be allowed to come to this girl mama house when she 15. You could be 22, come to this girl mama house while she 15, and sometimes go to her dad's house while she 15 and take advantage of her. I never forget, man. Like, I didn't even know this was possible I never saw this, man, until I started going to school in the hood. I started going to school in the hood in 7th grade. So just in that 1 year, I went to 3 schools in 7th grade. And I saw 5 girls who were in 7th grade that were pregnant. Bruh, I didn't even know that type of thing happened. I didn't even know that happened. So I was like, yo, not only are these girls getting it in, but they pregnant. And you know what I noticed? They were never pregnant by anybody they went to school with. It was always somebody older. So imagine 12, 13-year-old girl, ain't even in high school yet, pregnant by somebody, man, that's off playing ball at JUCO. Nigga 21 years old. Got a 12, 13-year-old girl pregnant, dog. I think the worst case I've seen, man, I think I saw a 25-year-old dude, man, who had, like, a girl had her first baby, man. She was 12. Dude was 25, dog. And he literally, man, used to pick her up in the morning and take her to school. Pick her from her mama's house, dog, and take her to school. And go pick up and bring her home every day. People at school thought that was her big brother, dog. And I was like, man, so it's not even just the girls who are touched in that environment. It's the fact that the adults are stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the stupidest adults you'll ever see are in that environment. But they're stupid because their parents were stupid too. I'm telling you, bruh, it's a crazy world. It's a crazy world, man, where you just look out there, man, and you see the type of things that go on, bruh. And then when you're in that environment, you think you're like, I'm like, man, you know what? Well, maybe I just don't even know that this happened in the rest of the world. Maybe this is what happens. And then once you become an adult and you realize, no, it's just that environment. Because I'm not saying young girls don't get pregnant in other environments. I'm saying that parents don't let those babies come to fruition. That girl gets sent off to boarding school or something. But that baby coming out, there ain't finna be no teenage moms around him. But in that environment, it's welcomed. It's not shunned at all. And the adults know that this dude, any dude that's an adult that's willing to sleep with a girl that young, man, he's crazy. That man ain't got no, he's wicked. Unless he comes get permission from the parent and say, this gonna be my wife, and they jump the broom and have the wedding, and this his wife, and he take care of her. Even that's a big age difference to be young. Now, I'm be honest with you. Let's say you take a 20-year age difference. You take a 20-year age difference. Yeah. If you 30 and if you let's say if you 35, she 15, boy, that's bad. If you 50 and she 30, it ain't as bad, is it? Nope. But we ain't talking about 50 and 30. We talking about 25 and a girl that's 12. You know what I mean? Boy, that's a lot right there. But that's what happens in these environments, man. I'm telling you, you got to understand that you can't afford to be out trying to talk to everybody and meet everybody, because most black folks are hood. Most black folks are. It don't matter where you met her at. Just because somebody got a degree don't mean they ain't hood. Just because somebody a doctor don't mean they ain't hood. You got to get to know someone and see how growing up in that environment affected them. Are they scarred beyond repair? Were they able to navigate it without the scars? You think about it. Going to prison. Prison does something to somebody. If you go do, man, about 10, 15, 20 years in prison, you kind of stuck in your ways, man. Unless you're exposed to the ways of the Most High, man, and you separate yourself, man, and you become a godly man, you stuck. You're going to be that. You know what I'm saying? Man, I know plenty of people, man, that listen, one more time, they gone forever. This be their third strike. They already got 2 strikes. I know plenty of people with 2 strikes. You know, I know several people with 1. And so you just got to understand, man, that some of these things, and here's the real deal. All snakes bite, and venom is indiscriminate. All snakes bite. People in the hood, I ain't never heard nobody don't trust their family. You know, like you get outside of that environment, you get in the real world. People have a black sheep of the family. That one kid that just didn't turn out good. Everybody else is doing things. You look at other environments, and yes, we can say, well, you know, it's because we're from the hood and we blah, blah, and we did all this and all that. Man, listen, that's got some truth to it. But at some point, we got to accept the fact that as black folks in America, we kind of evil. We kind of wicked. And yo, you could blame the system and blame all that, man. You can't blame sis for you being wicked. You can blame sis for you being poor. You can blame sis for you struggling. You can blame sis for the quality of education. You could do that. I ain't gonna deny none of that. But your choice to be wicked, your choice to be evil, you gotta own that. It's a choice. Free will, baby, free will. It ain't like you don't have another option. You look at the options and you choose the wicked option. There's a difference. It's not like all the other options have been taken from you and you, man, I didn't know I ain't had to kill nobody. What? I ain't gotta do it. I didn't know I ain't had to do that. I thought everybody around, I thought we all had to take somebody out. Well, how come all of you ain't taking somebody out? I want y'all to understand something, man. You just have to accept people for who they are. This ain't bad, this ain't good, it's just true. You know what I'm saying? This ain't bad, this ain't good, it's just true. Look, man, look. About 4 of my partners are the absolute most hood guys you're gonna ever see in your life. But they in the truth now. They understand who they are. They understand their direct descendants of God's chosen people. They understand that. But it's far and few in between. You know what I mean? And so that's the difference. You got to be in the truth, or you just, if you're not in the truth, then you still live in the lie. You know what I mean? Because you think about this. Families love and hate each other. Like, man, listen, I've known people who got robbed or set up to get robbed by their own brother, dog. I've seen people put hands on their mama to get some money. Where else you see that at? And let me tell you something. And this might cause a little controversy. When you talk about how that work, how that snow got put in the hood, okay, we understand it got put in there on purpose. But let me tell you something. For you to be able to look at what it's doing to your people around you and not feel nothing, for you to look at your own people and say, me coming up off your destruction is my right, and then you destroy them and then they throw you in prison, something wrong with you. It ain't got nothing to do with the people. Don't put, listen, the weapons of destruction were put in there by the people. The acts of destruction were committed by you. They were committed by you. Don't tell me you didn't know what you were doing. Don't tell me you didn't know you had an option. Don't tell me when you were getting ready to sleep with your homeboy mama because she was on that flavor that you thought that was the right thing to do. Don't tell me you thought that. Don't tell me you thought that when you about to sleep with your homeboy younger sister because she needed some paper for school that you thought that was the thing to do. You thought that was right. Don't tell me you thought that selling that flavor to your own mama was the thing to do. You thought that was right. Don't tell me you thought sending your baby brother out there on a dummy mission that ended him up in prison for 20 years was the right thing to do. You thought that was right? That's the problem. Where there is no God, there is only evil. And there is no God in that environment. And that's one of the major things I learned. There is no God in that environment. None. None. That's why people can go and shoot up a funeral. That's why people can just ride by and shoot up a club parking lot. That's why people just ride by, shoot up a schoolyard. That's why people right now bragging about having a switch on the weapon, making it shoot more time, and they can't hit nobody. You can't even, man, listen, the bullets don't even come out them things straight sometime, dog. You can't do nothing. But just to hear it, pop, 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 just to hear it, it does something to you. You think that's right? You look at the boys around here dressing like girls. Why is that? Because there are no men in the environment. And I'm going to be honest with you. The men who are in the world just avoid the environment. Because here's the thing. If you're not from the hood, you can't go in the hood and tell the hood nothing. Because they don't want to listen to you. You're not one of them. You're an outsider. So the men who aren't from the hood, stay away from it. The men who are from the hood, they can do a bunch of things, bro. They can do a bunch of things. But if everything you're getting is from outside in the community, but when you get home, there's no reinforcement, it don't matter. A child is going to do what they learn at home more than they do what they learn outside. Or they're going to be influenced by what they experience at home more than what they outside. They experience bad outside, they're going to bring bad. They experience bad inside, they're going to bring bad outside. They experience good, they experience love, they experience guidance and taught respect and all of that. Man, they taught all that. They're going to be different when they're outside. That's just how it is. So let me tell y'all something else, man. And this gonna be controversial too. No snitching is a form of self-hate. It's a form of self-hate. Now, the original representation of it, and I'm OG, like everything that you see in the hood when the time I'm talking about, when I was coming up, all this stuff originated from the banging to the slanging to all this stuff originated during this time. You know what I'm saying? So I want y'all to understand, when you think about it, if you and I do a crime together and they put you on the stand or they put you in the room with the question man, you don't say nothing about nobody but yourself. If you're going to tell, you tell on you. You don't mention nobody else's name. You don't know nothing. You treat the interrogation room and the courtroom the same. You plead the fifth. Or you tell on yourself. That's it. But if I'm not involved in something and I see you go break in the house and rob and kill my neighbor, that lady don't never do nothing to nobody but help. And if I see you go in there, I'm a fool not to tell the police that you done went in there and did something to that lady, man. That lady's 70 years old. What you done went in there and did something to that 70-year-old lady for? Man, I'm telling. I'm finna tell the people. Now, if that 70-year-old lady's my auntie, I'm not going to tell the people. I'm going to be the people. But to not do nothing and say that that's right, man, what kind of confusion and self-hate is that? If you ain't going to do nothing, somebody done took your brother out, closed casket out. And that joke still around the hood. You ain't going to do nothing. You ain't going to say nothing. That joke is still around the hood. Man, let me tell you something, bro. At that point, see, when I started hearing these things, that's how I knew I could go in the project without a pistol. Cause I just knew. I was like, okay, so y'all just gonna stick to the code like this. So let me manipulate this code to the best of my ability. I manipulate the code to the best of my ability. You know what I'm saying? I used to go out there. Listen, I used to take my weight work with me. I used to go out there with my tool. Sit it on this tool right here, man. Know what I heard? Man, you want to cook it yourself then? No, I won't cook it myself. I just want you to put it on. I want you to put it on this. I put it on this table right here, man. You know what I'm saying? This table gonna tell the truth. Let's put it on the table. Cause they don't know God, so they're gonna try to hit you with the false scale, false balance. They're gonna give you less than you're supposed to have. That's just what they're gonna do because they don't know God. So everything that God said, they're gonna go against it. You can't use a faulty scale and balance and all of that, but that's what they're gonna use. So you gotta go in there with your own. They just know for a fact I ain't coming up in there without no weapon. So I can go in there without a weapon. God know they think I got one. And they already know that I let the iron fly. So I ain't gotta worry about it. It's gonna take somebody that really got a problem with me. But you know what? I'm always riding solo. How you got a problem with me? You might be a hater, but a hater is not finna take a chance on being the main guest at a closed casket funeral. A hater ain't finna take a chance on that. Somebody got an issue with you that you done crossed and did wrong to, they will. But a hater ain't gonna do it. I understood how far a hater would go. A hater, most times they're gonna hate. And if an easy opportunity come, a hater might take it to jam you up. But for real, a hater ain't finna take no chance like that. So I knew that. I knew as I started looking at some of these things that it's very easy to outsmart someone who's not using their brain. If I know you're sticking to a code and I know that, I can easily outsmart you because I'm thinking and you not. It's the same thing we're dealing with a woman from the hood. You dealing with a woman from the hood, man, you'll never let her tell you, man, that now she did all that, now she ready to settle down. With who? Who you been settle down with? Me? Oh, you done did all that when I done had all this fun, when I had these baby by these men and did all that, now you ready to settle down with me. I know you are ready to settle down with me. You ready to settle down with anybody who fool enough to say, okay, baby, let's settle down. You ain't ready to settle down with me. The time to settle down is gone. For you, with me, it's gone. But you got to remember. And so here's the thing. If it's no snitching, then you don't call the police at no point. Why you calling the police when somebody breaking in your house? I knew then that the codes were just if it benefits you. If it benefits you, and that's why now everybody's snitching. Because the code didn't make sense. Now everybody's snitching. Everybody talking. They making up stuff that ain't even true. They tell about cases ain't got nothing to do with the one that they own. Because those codes, they don't make sense. And if you start thinking with your brain and understanding life through your spirit, man, you realize that, man, those codes don't make sense. And let me tell you something else, man. Anytime you embrace terrible conditions as good, and so they're your end goal, you think about it, man. That's self-defeating. Nothing is more self-defeating than that. Looking at an environment that's terrible, that's horrible, and then you can make $1 million and still won't leave it. Unfortunately, that's why C. Murder ain't out yet. He ain't even had to be in there. You rich, dog. Why you out here still doing this type of stuff? BG going down there got to do 14 years for a weapon. The Audi boy can jam. So I think I think Soulja Boy just got jammed up in Cali with a weapon. Dog, why are you going places where you need a weapon? If you got all this paper, why are you still going places where you need a weapon, bruh? You know what I mean? I'm talking places where you need a weapon. And this is why you get pulled over in those places, because the cops know you need a weapon in those places. So they just pull you over. Why are you even going to places where the cops just pull you over because you black riding around? What's the purpose in that? It doesn't make sense, dog. It's like when your growth is stunted from the time you young, you never grow. And the majority of people, man, their growth is stunted. And let me tell you something else. The reason why the majority of people are stuck in their 12-year-old mind state, because they never got a chance to be a kid. You know, you meet somebody from the hood, man, never got a chance to be a kid. I know guys, man, who are already hustling, man, when they were 12, 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with guys, man, who had cars at 13, 14 years old. They didn't even have a driver's license. They were still driving. Why? Because they never had nothing. Like they never had anything. They weren't even guaranteed to be able to eat. You know what kind of animal that turns you into? It turns you into a type of animal where you just never stop being an animal. Why? Because that's what works for you. It's the same thing with a woman. If a woman realizes that she can get what she wants by using her body, she never gonna stop doing that. She'll be with you if you got paper, fall off. You know what she gonna do? She gonna fall back to what she always know gonna get her paper. If you fall off, then your woman gonna turn into what she always was. You thought she wasn't that, but she ain't have to be that. But she gonna turn into what she was. She ain't gonna start praying and doing that. She ain't gonna get no job. She gonna turn into what she knows. You know what I'm saying? She gonna see how much dough she gonna make that dough by taking off her clothes. I'm telling you, that's what she gonna do. And that's just how it is. You can't change what works with you. If it works for you, you're gonna do it. What works for me? Relying on the Most High. That's why I do it. I don't know what worked for you, but relying on the Most High worked for me. You know what I'm saying? Figuring out what the Most High want me to do, what direction He want me to go, and beeline in it that way. That's what worked for me. What worked for you? Depending on what environment you're from, that don't work for you. Or you don't know that it works for you because nobody ever taught you. And see, you got to be searching for the exit from the present to something better. Otherwise, you believe that's all there is. You know what I'm saying? Man, listen, man, places that I used to go as a kid, like places, my dad used to take us places as a kid, dog. And I realized, man, that when I became an adult, man, some of my partners that were from the hood, dog, they didn't go to the old place until they were like 30. Man, hit me up excited about it. Man, went out to such, man, you ever heard of such, man? Went out there, I said, yeah, I heard of it. Listen to the whole story. I'd be like, yeah, man, that place such still out there? What about such and such? Yeah, man, I mean, yeah, man, I was just out there. I was just out there last time I was in the city, man. I went out there and went to such and such. I said, man, how you know about that? I said, bro, I used to go out there as a kid, man. And he just get silent because he's reminded of the fact that he was trapped in the trap. It's called the trap for a reason. It's not just a physical trap, it's a mental and emotional trap as well. It's a financial trap. It's a spiritual trap. It traps you in all ways. Sometimes, man, the best thing that happened to a guy is to go to prison out of that environment because you go to prison and it separates you from that environment where you can do all of those things. Now, prison ain't no environment to lust after. I ain't gonna lie to you, but sometimes that's what a guy need, man, to break the habits that he had in that environment because those habits, man, that lead you down a path of destruction. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you something else I learned, man. You're the only one you can trust. You can't trust people because you don't know what they're gonna do in any situation until you see them in it. That's one thing I learned about women in the hood, man. They're different when they paid and when they broke. And then I got out of the hood, I realized it applies to all women. You don't know a woman until you know how she gonna act when the money is low, and you don't know how and the money is good. You got to see her in both ways. That's why when guys be talking about leave with their wallet, I'd be like, well, how you gonna know how the woman gonna how to interact with you if you broke? It's crazy to leave with your wallet. Now, if you just want something to play with, then cool. Just get you something to play with. But if you talking about actually out here, trying to have a woman that stick to the net for a minute, man, you don't compete with your wallet. You want to see what that woman like, man, when you ain't got no paper. Now you don't want to look dusty and busted, but you don't want to say nothing about no paper. Let no woman know what you're doing in paper, man. If that's the first question out of a woman's mouth, even though I do pretty good, but man, if that's the first question out of a woman's mouth, man, what you do for it, man? We ain't finna talk about that. That's why I don't do dating. When you do dating, a woman has a regimented interaction with you. I'm gonna ask this question, ask this question, I'm gonna ask this question. If a woman show you attraction confirmation, man, she just want to spend time with you. She just saw you, she caught a vibe, she want to connect with you. That way, man, listen, bro. I have known women, man, for 5, 6 months. 5, 6 months. And we literally we didn't even know each other's last name. We didn't care. We just want to spend time together. And we spend time together. And then we start having these conversations. They just come up randomly. Like I'll be making a say like we about to go somewhere. I make a reservation. And then we get into the restaurant and I tell them who I am on the reservation. That's the first time, man, she know my name. You know what I mean? Or she'll be calling to set up a hair appointment or something, or maybe we're out of town and she'll call and set up a hair appointment and she'll give my name. And I'd be like, damn, I ain't even know her last name. Cause it don't even matter. When somebody vibing with you, dog, they vibing with you, man. You know what I'm saying? It's the same token. I saw so many guys who were working their fingers to the bone to take care of a woman. And the whole time the woman was bringing another dude in his house while he was gone. Now, it ain't for me to tell you that unless you my partner. I ain't just running around the neighborhood knocking on door. Hey man, listen, I saw somebody over here while you was at work. He had on your robe when he came to the mailbox. It ain't for me to tell you that. It ain't my business. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Now, that what I thought back then, but honestly, right now, man, if I saw your old lady, man, bring somebody to your crib, man, I'm gonna tell you, dog. You can just live in my neighborhood, man. You know what I'm saying? If I see if I know for a fact your old lady tipping, man, bring somebody to your crib. If I see your old lady out somewhere with somebody, I ain't finna do all that. But if I see her bring somebody in your crib, man, and I know that, and I know what they're about, man, I'm gonna tell you. I'm like, man, listen, I ain't trying to, man, tell you, man, get in your business, dog, man. But your old lady's so disrespectful, man. She bring dude to your crib. I'll let you go find out why nigga in your crib. If I already know. But man, if I just see her out, that ain't my business. But man, coming to your crib, man, that's a level of disrespect. As men, we gotta hold people accountable. And that's why no snitching is feminine. You know what I'm saying? When it crosses over into, even if you know something, you don't tell it, even if you ain't had nothing to do with it. Somebody done got robbed, or somebody done got this, or somebody got that, or somebody did something to somebody's kid, or that little girl right there, man, somebody done touched her, and and you don't say that, man, that's feminine, dog. Because men are meant to hold everybody accountable, not just other men. Men are meant to hold everybody accountable. So these guys got the right idea when they say, man, you got to hold these women accountable. When somebody be talking online, I be, dog, you can't hold no woman accountable by talking online. How you going to hold her accountable? Talking about it? No. Accountability is making somebody accept the error of their ways and fixing it. You can't do that online. I say that all the time. There is no such thing as holding women accountable online, but guys be thinking that's what this content is doing, is holding women accountable. It's really not, man. It can't. It can't. And here what I want y'all to understand something too, man. Spiritually dead people only seek to kill, steal, and destroy. So you think about in the hood, you got women who boost, you got women who sell themselves, you got women who move work for people, you got women who set up chicks, you got women who in the shake joint. You got all of these things. None of those things are godly. None of those are a representation of godliness. You got dudes who hustle and destroy their people. You got dudes who rob the hustlers. Sometimes take them out. You got dudes that rob banks. You got dudes that take advantage of women. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about in forceful ways, like overpower women and do all of that. Man, you got a bunch of things that go on in that environment, bro. And none of those things represent godliness. And spiritually dead people only seek to kill, steal, and destroy. That's all they can do. They're in that mindset. And so that's why, man, when you talking about dealing with a woman from that environment, bro, you gotta watch her. You gotta watch her because I'm telling you, everything she's doing when you meet her is an act. It's an act. Meet a woman from that environment. Listen, you can meet a woman from the hood, man. She'll say she don't listen to rap. Man, if y'all are from the hood, that's all you listen to is rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your favorite kind of music. You may listen to something else. Listen, bro, listen. Man, you gonna listen right now. If I go get in the whip right now, cut it on, man, you're gonna hear what happened to that boy. He was talking, we put a clap into that boy. That's what you're gonna hear right now. Now, that ain't what you're gonna hear all the time, but that's what you're gonna hear right now. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna hear some UGK, it's Dom Perignon, it's supposed to bubble. It just be like that sometime. You're gonna hear some of that. And you can also hear some Patrice Rushen, some Osler Brothers. But you're gonna hear it. And I'm not from the projects, but somebody from the projects, man, who told my man, they don't listen to rap. Come on, man, it's fake. Somebody's trying to convince you that they're the impossible person. They're from the hood without any of the scars. They're from the hood without any of the habits. They're from the hood without any of the negative outlooks. It's impossible. It's impossible unless they're in the truth. What's the truth? The word of the Most High. I ain't talking about none of that voodoo, hoodoo, witchcraft stuff. I'm talking about the word of the Most High. If they ain't about that, then they ain't in the truth. They don't know the truth. But they'll try to sell you something, bro. They'll try to sell you a dream. Why? Because they've been sold so many dreams that they believe it's their turn to sell a dream. When you think about all of this, well, Stepdads are amazing things. That's the only environment where people think that. Why? Because in that environment, any woman you meet already got some kids. So you're going to be a stepdad by default. If you're going to be with her, you automatically a stepdad. So in that environment, being a stepdad is one of the most amazing things in the world. But when you think about it, only men from that environment think it's an amazing thing. It's toxic. It's just toxic, man. And the reality is, man, that's just the way it is. That's the way it's going to be. It ain't going to be anything different. Because let me tell you something else that I'll tell you about an environment. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Go to the hood. Tell me where the clean spot is. I remember walking through Project Staircase, man, smelled like, man, somebody just been using it as a urinal. Trash all everywhere. The dumpster's always full and all crappy. All type of raggedy cars all parked around. You know what I mean? Drug paraphernalia and everything, man, be all over the ground and all that, man. Little baby walking around with poopy pampers on, man, and all that, man. Fiends walking around ain't bathed in days, man. Old stray, scraggly, wrangly, mangly dogs running around, man. Rats might be around, man. Old mangy cats running around, man. What's clean about that? If cleanliness is next to godliness, then dirtiness is next to wickedness. I say again, if cleanliness is next to godliness, then dirtiness is next to wickedness. Makes sense to me. It's got to be. So when you think about these things, man, you like, bro, when you look at, I'm like this, bro. I'm going to tell you like this, man. I'm going to tell you 5 things, man, that I really, really learned about women from hood chicks. Because they can't hide the bad parts of themselves. Women out here in the real world, they can hide it. You know what I'm saying? They can hide it. The majority of women are at least curious about being with another woman. I'm not saying all of them are, but the majority of them are. And in that environment, the majority of them have, at least once, experimented, experienced, accepted, whatever you want to say. Also, a woman will let you believe she likes you if it's going to get her some financial compensation. And the worst of them do everything in their power to convince you that they like you. They intentionally try to mislead you into believing that they like you when they really don't. And they'll take you for everything you have and then accuse you of being wrong for being a simp for them in the first place. Another thing, the majority of women will indeed sleep with more than one man in a 24-hour period. Now they got to really like the man, but they will go sleep with a man and then come right back and sleep with a man that think he got himself a woman in a 24-hour period. And even worse than that. You know what I mean? It gets even worse than just sleeping with, trust me. Also, the majority of women that you come across do not desire for you to use any protection at all. They have no desire for it. You'd better be the one to know that you need to use it, because the majority of them will not require it at all. Now, you could tell yourself you're such a special dude that everyone else got to strap up and not you. But I'm telling you, that's not the truth. In essence, the majority of women are like Eve, and the majority of men are like Adam. God gave a man everything, and he can maintain it. God gave him a woman, and his desire to be a sucker, he can't restrain it. He gonna give the woman all the control that he has and let her dominate him. And the problem is, when that relationship fizzles out and you get kicked out the Garden of Eden, she gonna expect that from every subsequent man that she deals with. So I don't want to deal with a woman who's been in a relationship with hood guys, because she's been in one of the most toxic relationships ever. And she has scars that not only do I not want to heal, I don't want to feel. Because the results of those scars is that she's unstable and she's unable to bring anything to what we call the table. All right, brothers. That's it, man. That's it. We're going to go ahead and slide on out of here, man. I think I got another super chat right here. Who we got right here? MPI, appreciate you, man. Appreciate the 5 bones, man. Let me see what he say here, man. I've been living in ATL 14 years. I only dealt with 2 women that's strictly from ATL. A complete different type of woman. Yeah, man. ATL a different beast, man. It is different. Let me see. Jay Guillory, man. Appreciate you. Daniel Brown, appreciate you, man. All right, man. I appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. We're going to go and give it a slide on out that thing. I just want to come in here and do something different today, man. I think this is a little bit different piece of content, man. I just want to come in here and do it. I know I ain't really touch on a lot about women, man, but I talk about them so much that, I just wanted to touch on some other things in here, man. Just do something a little different, man. I vibed off this piece of content, man. I thought about it today, man. I said, let me go ahead and do it, man. And I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. I hope you got some out of it. If nothing more, man, I hope that you were reminded of some things or you learned something new. And at the very least, I hope you got a little bit of entertainment out of it as well. Famo, I see you in the joint, man. Salute to you. See you in the joint. All right, we're going to go ahead and get ready to slide out of here, man. Look, man, y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing, man. Peace.